Holy shit. Hey there guys, what's up? What's going on? It is Movie Review Mike 18 here, back with another video. I am going to be doing another movie review in this video, and it is for Widows. Widows is directed and co-written by Steve McQueen, and it is also co-written by Gillian Flynn. You may know her as the author of Gone Girl. And Steve McQueen, man, is slowly working his way up as one of the best working directors today. I love 12 Years a Slave. That is one of the best films of the decade, by far. Absolutely deserved the Oscar win it received. Shame, his film before that, is one of my favorite films of all time. That is up there. A+ movie. I love it. Shame is perfect. I have not seen Hunger. Don't kill me in the comments. So guys, Widows follows a group of 4 women who have lost their husbands in a robbery attempt gone very horribly wrong. So now they are being pursued by the men whose money was stolen by their husbands in the robbery that went wrong. And they then decide to band together and form a group to pull off another heist job in order to get their pursuers off of their backs. So guys, let me just get this straight. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anyone, but this is the cast for Widows. Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, Cynthia Erivo, Colin Farrell, Liam Neeson, Robert Duvall, Brian Tyree Henry, Jon Bernthal, Daniel Kaluuya. Well, okay. Good cast. Screw it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to keep you in suspense. This movie's insane, guys. This is like off the walls, just crazy good, just pure grade A cinema entertainment at its finest, guys. This definitely is a big budget popcorn blockbuster that you can go to if you are not a film lover, but at the same time this movie still places such an incredibly important emphasis on all of the social issues that it is trying to tackle, and it does it in such a incredibly brilliant way. This film focuses on dealing with grief and loss in relationships, political unrest and corruption amongst politicians, incredibly relevant social issues dealing with class and race injustices, capitalist greed, America under Trump and our political climate right now, gun control, police brutality, the Me Too movement, the power that some certain men feel they have over women if they have more money or if they come from a higher social class, the way society looks at women nowadays. All of those issues are covered throughout this entire movie. Yeah, that's right. It's honestly like they had a checklist and they literally went, check. Yep. Oh, did we cover that in the script? Okay, check. That's good. All right. So no, guys, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, okay? Some people are going to go into this movie and take a look at everything that this film is trying to depict and portray and sort of unpack all of its themes and be like, yeah, okay, that's shoehorned in. Yeah, that just feels over the top and ridiculous. I have not seen a review or heard an awful thing about that component of this movie thus far. That said, I was not one of those people. I loved the way every single one of those important themes were interwoven and worked into the script for this movie. Nothing felt ham-fisted in there. Nothing felt out of place for me. Everything felt very naturalistic and everything flowed so incredibly well. I can't think of a film that has tackled all of these issues in one whole movie in this manner. And that is just one reason alone why this movie is incredible. These performances are just top-notch all across the board. Viola Davis, man, let's talk about her. So she's essentially playing the sort of ringleader of this group. She gets the women all together. I loved Viola Davis in this movie. Apart from being one of the best performances of this year, what I loved what she brought to the character was just so many distinct just vulnerabilities and hardships. She brings all of those just emotional gut punches I know she hit the audience as hardly as she hit me. I felt her grief. I felt what she was going through. I understood and got behind all of her decisions and actions. She's so empowering, and she has so much strength that she brings out despite all of her grief. And it is such an incredible balance, an amazing, immaculate performance. But the two standouts out of all the women for me were definitely Viola Davis and Elizabeth Debicki. Elizabeth Debicki plays a woman who sort of goes into this sort of escort service after her husband passes away in the failed robbery attempt, while she's also working with the other women on this new robbery. The film has just excellent, subtle, beautiful commentary on what her character is going through within that service, and just what women, the kind of that women deal with on a normal basis that I would probably know nothing about. So Daniel Kaluuya plays an enforcer to Brian Tyree Henry's character in this movie. One of my biggest issues with this movie is that we did not get enough of Daniel Kaluuya on screen. Oh my god, this guy just... wow. I knew Daniel Kaluuya was so great in Get Out. I loved him in that movie. But I loved him in this because you could just tell how much fun he was having with this role. He is one of the most menacing and threatening characters I've ever seen in a movie in that type of role in a long time. I love how quiet he is. I love how he keeps everything into himself until he's going to straight up murder your ass. Daniel Kaluuya is easily Oscar worthy. I don't think he's going to get recognized because he doesn't have a lot of screen time. That said, there's two scenes in this movie. The gym sequence and the sequence that's set in a bowling alley. He is just a quick-thinking, stone-cold badass, and I have not seen a performance like this from this type of enforcer-like character since like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. I'm gonna compare him to him because he's on another level in this movie. The characters are completely different, Joe Pesci and Daniel Kaluuya, but he's great in this movie. That's all I have to say. Steve McQueen, man, just directs this movie with so much care and skill. And as I said earlier, he's just definitely climbing his way on top to becoming one of my favorite directors working today. He probably already is. I'm probably already excited for whatever next film project he's going to be working on. I mean, his use of shot language and his cutting choices have always intrigued me in 12 Years a Slave and Shame. One of his trademarks that he only saves for certain key moments, and he doesn't overdo it. He only uses one takes, and I mean like really long one takes, like straight up like 2 4-minute long one takes, when only incredibly necessary, and he does like 2 of them per movie. And I immediately pointed out the 2 long takes in Widows as well. There's one incredible sequence in a gym that honestly just builds so much tension in its camera movement, in its very steady, fluid-like shots that honestly plagues just the entire rest of the film, not just that scene, but in every other scene as well. Beautifully executed cinematography work and framing choices. And then the second one take that blew my mind in this film, that just ties into so many of the important themes that this script is trying to focus on so beautifully. It's this one shot that is mounted on a car, and we're driving through a neighborhood from point A to point B, and it's one of the best shots of the year in my opinion. It says so much about the wealth and poverty status of people in America nowadays, and this scene also comments so incredibly well on the things that politicians say in privacy. There are politicians out there who act a certain way for the cameras. They do a certain amount of charity work to say, yes, I support this issue. I support this group of people. But then you can just tell deep below the surface there's something going on. They look at it in an entirely different way when they are not in front of the cameras and when they are in their limos that are taking them to their incredibly wealthy houses. And I'm not shaming any politicians right now. I'm just saying, this is how it's always been. This is how some people are. And this film nails that to a T in that one shot. The fact that everything is so masterfully handled and all of these themes are so beautifully presented and are incredibly meaningful and important. But on top of all that, this movie is stacked as a heist crime thriller, and it's so freaking gripping and exciting, and it is filled with incredibly just shocking, breathtaking twists one of the biggest twists of the year that nobody in my theater saw coming. The script is fantastic, guys. It's one of the best of the year easily. If this film does get snubbed for any Oscars come award season, it doesn't get nominated for anything in the major categories, the one thing this film deserves and would be a crime if it was not nominated for is the screenplay. Just to give you an example of how good the writing is mixed with what the filmmakers are trying to say, there's an incredible line about gun control in this movie that Viola Davis says. It's one line, my entire audience lost it. It's incredible, it's so true, and it speaks to so many issues that we have of gun control nowadays. And I loved it. There's also a recreation sequence of a scene in 2008, right during the height of Obama's presidency, and it concerns police brutality, and it left me freaking speechless. There is a lot to unpack. There is a lot going on in this movie that you're definitely going to have to sit on and think about, but that's what I've been doing since I saw it yesterday, and it's been nothing but good thoughts, guys. In terms of flaws, my only previous mentioned issues, I wanted more of Daniel Kaluuya. That was my biggest issue with the whole film. He was just such a great character. I wanted so much more of him. Just 2 more scenes was all I wanted. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And then I had issues with 2 character decisions that 2 characters make in this movie, and just 2 things that 2 characters say in 2 different scenes. And that was it. Everything else was perfect. Those are my only issues. 2 minor little script issues. That's it. Excellent performances all across the board. A phenomenal supporting and leading ensemble cast. Incredible writing from Gillian Flynn and Steve McQueen. Excellent pacing. Not once did I feel bored in this movie. Excellent score by Hans Zimmer. Excellent cinematography and color grading and lighting and everything. I loved Widows, guys. I highly, highly recommend you guys watch this movie. I am going to give Widows a solid grade of a 4.5 out of 5 or a grade of an A. I was this close to going all the way. I really was, but take my word for it. This is easily one of the best films of the year, and it's going to be very, very high up on my top 10 list come the end of this month. So there you have it, guys. That has been my review for Widows. What did you guys think of this movie? Let me know down below in that comment box. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the movie if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, what the hell are you doing? Stop watching me and go check it out, guys. Come on. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video, all right? Take care.